Hello, a little editing comment. I was just editing the YouTube episode I just recorded and I saw that the lighting is really bad. Actually, it's way sunnier than I anticipated and it cut my head off quite a bit. But it's a very long episode and I do not have the energy to record it all over again. So bear with me this time. I will book it under learning experiences and better luck next time. Bye.
Hello and good afternoon. Today it's Sunday 15th of October and this is episode 3 of the Navy Knitters podcast. My name is Leontine. I'm a Netherlands-based knitter and maker, and this is a little corner where I want to share about my Navy life, knitting and all my other crafty endeavors. So usually I record on a Friday when I'm off work and the kids are at school, but last Friday I was at the Breidagen in Zwolle. It's in the eastern part of the Netherlands, and I did not want to wait until next Friday to record. So I thought, well, I parked everybody downstairs in the living room and I locked myself up in our bedroom, and I want to talk about what we did. What happened in the last few weeks since my last recording? Well, first of all, something very exciting. No, not first of all. First of all, what am I wearing? I'm wearing my, not the Tolsta, but the Brest Tee, like the French town of Brest. This is a design from Along avec Anna. I will tell you more about her because I went to see her in her shop in Exeter. She has her own yarn, and this was made in the original yarn of the original pattern, and it's Sandnes Duo. I have one skein here, and this is 55% merino and 45% cotton. I actually bought this in Norway, in Sandnes, at the Sandnes Garn factory, but I'll tell you a different time about that one. And it's knit in the round, top down, and it's very addictive because you knit stripe to stripe to stripe. And so it goes all the way around, then you separate the sleeves, and then you go to the back. And I was wearing this last Friday, and I got so many comments about how lovely this shirt was and if it was a very special Tolsta. But then they saw that there was no raglan increases, so that's about that. So what the special thing I wanted to talk about is the Doekjesswap. And I think last episode I talked to you about the swap I was participating in. It was a fiber cloth swap. Well, difficult to translate. The idea behind it is you get a swap mate, which you don't know, and it's a different person who you send your parcel to than you receive a parcel from. And you had to make one like dishcloth or face cloth or something cloth in, well, a color. Well, the only thing you had as an indication was a mood board placed on Instagram by that person. And so you made some kind of a cloth and you put in some coffee, tea, some goodie, some nice little things, presents, and then you send it off, and you were only allowed to open it past Monday. And I must say I had not the best day at work. Let's say it was kind of a shit day at work. But then I got home and I had my little parcel waiting, and I was so excited to open it. And let me show you what I got. First of all, I will put in a picture somewhere of the mood board I posted, so you can see what I was aiming for. I had sea colors and a bit of, well, pinkish, purplish colors. Well, sea obviously. So I got in the lovely sea colors. This is a big one with a lovely stitch. It's quite heavy. It's made from cotton, so you can wash it. And it's a really lovely stitch, and it's really pretty heavy. And I got another one, and this is made with 2 colors. It's really soft, nice yarn. So these are my cloths, and I actually use them a lot and in my kitchen because I tend to burn myself all the time. And now every time I open the drawer where my, well, how do you call them? Pannenlappen? the Dutch word, well, the things you use not to burn yourself when you grab pots and stuff. So I have these two lying there, and every time I open the drawer, I get a big smile on my face because I know somebody made them especially for me, and I think about them and I use them and haven't had any burns ever since. So they work. But that was not the only thing that was on my parcel. I got some chocolates, which I ate already since it was a shitty day on Monday. But I got some other lovely presents. One of them is this cutesy project bag. Look at that. It's in Delft blue. The inside is dark blue and with a pinky strap to attach stitch markers and stuff. Really cute. And since I'm making my next project, that will be the beret, which I want to make for my mother-in-law. This is the perfect bag. So my next project is going to be living in here. But it did not travel alone. It came with a mini skein of blue sock wool, and I think it's a hand-dyed one because it has some variation in it. Isn't it cute? So this will definitely go in a sock. And then, what else did I get? I got a really nice letter, which I won't read to you, don't you worry. But I have to show you because look at this paper. It's a Dutch artist who makes it. And I absolutely have to have it because I have some friends I haven't talked to in a while. They live abroad. And now that I've seen the wonderful paper by Esther Benning, check her out on Instagram, I just want to cozy up with a pen and write letters to everybody because the paper is so amazingly beautiful. Then I got a lovely card. This is from a shop called Olivia.nl. Funny thing is, I'm just binging her podcast episodes, and this is one of her own designs. It's a postcard. And so it was really lovely to get something from Livia. And this will get a place somewhere in my yarn corner on the attic. And I also got the stickers from Livia. They will go in my Knitter's Notes notebook with my projects, and she also designed them herself. Really cute. But that's still not all. I got this little cutie. This is a little pink tin with some pinky stitch markers in there, which go perfectly with my new bag. But that's not all. I also got a set of stitch markers from Leuk Gemaakt. Aren't they cute? It's a little fish, all stars, and a blue and a clock. And here's one, which is a little circle with a nice stone on there. And they also perfectly match my project bag. So I was really, really happy. And I got a note from the person who received my parcel, and she only posted it very recently because she had a difficult time too. I heard she was waiting for the outcome of an operation, and so she had no time to post it before. But I made 3 cloths for her, and the first one was made in 2 colors because she liked contrasting colors, dark blue and pink. And it was knit in a way with slip stitches that it said, "Do it." And I found this very, a free pattern on Ravelry. I don't know who it was from. I will mark it in the notes. And then I said, okay, actually I like making cloths because it's a nice takeaway project or on-the-go project. And so I decided to make another one in blue with a pink accent and a pink one with some blue accents. And they're just some stitch pattern I liked. I can't remember where I found it, but I promised Chris, the one who got my package, that I would look it up for her. And I also made her a little project bag. I made her a yarn cozy, and I can show you how that looks like. It's not a little one. It's like this. It's like a little sock. See, with a base in there, and it's made from stretchy fabric. So if you have, I don't have one at the moment, but if you have a caked up yarn, you can put it over it, and it protects it from getting tangled, everywhere and getting dirty. You can put it on the table like that. So I made one for her, a project bag, some stitch markers. She likes gardening and flowers, so I took some photos of her Instagram of her flowers and made it into some stitch markers. And I will post some pictures of how the parcel looked like, and I put in some tea and some chocolates. So I think she had a really nice time. Oh, and one thing which I also put in there was a row counter, and I will show you one which you can untangle here, because she asked me, can you explain how a row counter works? Well, yes, of course I can, because I love them. Well, let me show you. This is what a row counter looks like. It's 10 rings with an attachment at the base. The 5th ring is in a different, I don't know if you can see it, it's in a different structure. And there's a little clasp that you can attach to the rings. Well, how it works, I don't have a project here right now, but you slip this over your knitting needle. Well, let's take my whip. I'm knitting on my, oh god, I lost some stitches here. Oh, come back. And we're back. So this is my sock whip. So if you want to count rows, you just put your first ring on here. You go on knitting, and then you knit all the way around. And once you come back to the ring, you just simply slip it off and put the second ring on here. Then you continue knitting. And you can do this until you are at ring number 10. Then you would continue to row 11, right? So to remember that you're in row 11, you get your little clasp, I think it's called a lobster clasp. You put it in the first ring and it counts the tens. So if I put this on now, I will know that this is not 1. Oh god, keep losing the stitches. That this is not 1, but row 11. And if you were going to 21, you just put it, this would be 21. If you put it in the third one, it would be 31. So you can get the hang of it. So you can count until 100 rows with this marker. So dear Chris, I hope I managed to explain it to you, and if not, please just drop me a line and I will make a Dutch video to explain it. But this is the way you can use the row counter. And I must say, I've knitted quite some scarves and Sophie scarves and Sophie shawls, and you have to have a certain amount of stitches every time. And I was not good at reading the knit stitches that I make, the fabric that I make. So I made some especially to go on my project. So this one has, I think, 6 rows. So this is for a 6-row repeat with a nice bottle of wine. And I also made some for, this was for a different kind of scarf where I had I think a 5-row repeat. So I made one with 5. And I also have one little sailor, turn it around so you can see it, and it has a 3-row repeat, just because I didn't like the whole long dingly dangly thing, and I like to make stitch markers and everything. So I have quite a lot of these, and I alternate between projects. So yeah, since I already introduced my whip, I must say my whip is partially my finished object, my one and only, because ta-ta-da-da, I finished my first Socktoberparty sock. And I made this, I actually remembered to put it on a sock blocker this time. Yay for my progress. I must say, I don't really like my sock blockers. I was looking for some nice ones at the Breidagen, and I actually promised myself I would buy some nice ones, but I think since I already spent quite some money, I will save these for my birthday. Well, to ask for them for my birthday, or to ask some money for my birthday, because this sock blocker is actually size 42 up to 47. I'm a size 42, and I have the feeling that it stretches out my socks way beyond of what I want. And if I put it on the smaller one, they just don't block, so I don't even bother putting them on. But I think the size range of these is way too big, so it stretches out too much. But just for the sake of the video, I will keep it on. I have made these with Drops Nord, that's the dark blue one. And as opposed to the nice hand-dyed yarns I will show you in a second, this one is a discounter sock yarn, which I once found. It's a 100-gram ball, 75% wool, 25% poly. And I bought it at the Action outlet store. I bought 2 of those. And I already made my daughter a pair of socks with this in helical knitting, also with the dark blue yarn. And now I just use them for mine. And yesterday I started to knit my second sock, not to get second sock syndrome. And the way this Socktoberparty works, it's organized by Sunny Designs and Designs by Tini, I think, on Instagram, on the Dutch Instagram. Or no, it's not Dutch Instagram, it's 2 Dutch ladies. And they had this pattern. I have no idea how it's called. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and we're all knitting the same socks. And so I just started the second one, but it's I'm now on the left foot sock, and so the pattern is mirrored on the left opposed to the right. And it's a nice one with twisted stitches and slip stitches and, well, nice colors. So this is a nice little whip. And then, let's see. I went to the Breidagen and it was amazing. It was my second yarny, fair, let's say. I went to the Wevers market, a big yarn market in Hoorn, which is close to here, like a half-an-hour drive in summer. That was my first ever, yarny, let's say event. And the Breidagen is I think one of the larger Dutch knitting venues. I went there, I made these little buttons. Maybe a little secret, once I dive into a new hobby, I go all out. So at some point I was making buttons because, well, my daughter has a food allergy, and as a child it was very severe. And I couldn't find any buttons that says, please don't feed me, I'm allergic. And so I just simply made them myself. So I have this button machine. And so I made this little TheNavyknitter buttons, because everybody gets these Ravelry buttons, where to find somebody in Ravelry, and I had the original one for myself. And I must say, I had true fangirl moments. The first person I literally ran into was Kralali. And you can find her on YouTube as, well, of course, why don't I remember her name? Colorful Creativity, of course. I was a bit starstruck. No, she's a lovely lady who dyes her own yarn, has a shop, and is really this veteran YouTuber. And she was one of the first persons to look at my YouTube, and she gave me a lot of tips and tricks, also to shift my camera. So I remembered it, Caroline, thank you. Gave me a lot of tips and tricks after my first episode aired, and is just the most amazing, lovely, colorful person you can imagine. And I went to have some lunch, and I went back into the big, fair rooms. Sorry, that was my son bursting in. So the first person I literally ran into was Caroline. Really nice. I met the lovely dyers of Undercover Otter, Aiden. So amazing to see their yarns in real life. I mean, it's a different thing to see photos on Insta or on websites, but really to be there and to feel the energy of the people, look them in the eyes and what they've done with their hands and their creativity. It's just amazing. Then I went on and I met Sarah. Now, I must admit, she was one of the first knitting YouTubers I was watching. and she has 2 episodes every week, and she did the Felix in February, and I binged all her YouTube videos. When I was off last year, we had a chunk of 5 weeks of winter leave from the ship, and I was literally bringing the kids to school, sitting down with a big mug of steaming coffee and podcasts, and I was knitting my way away on my Felix cardigan, watching all of her episodes. And just the way that she embraces her perfectly imperfect being and always positive. It was so weird of an experience to actually see her in person in the nice cardigan she was wearing, because I only know it from, well, her digital presence. And then all of a sudden to have this person there in real life, it was really amazing. And we had a lovely chat. I brought her a little present, like a yarn cozy, because I think of many things she already has. This isn't a thing she has already. Just as a little token of my appreciation that I admire her and the way she just is herself, bubbly, always positive, always embracing her imperfections, and, well, teaching us about thinking about that stuff doesn't have to be perfect. And yeah, so I had a little chat with her, really lovely. I met another YouTuber, which I wasn't, let's say, before going to the Breidagen, I didn't know her yet, but I caught up. I met Emma at the store of, I have to peek, how was it called? Holland Creatief. And we had a lovely chat too. And as I promised, I'm now watching all your episodes, which will take a while, but it's always lovely to have some benchmarking and what other people do. And then in the end, that's the whole reason why I started wanting to make another podcast, because I enjoy it enormously to watch other people. Yeah. And then, of course, I did not come home without buying stuff. But the first thing I did before even running into Caroline and Sarah and Emma is I took a workshop. And this was, I think I booked the workshop even before I got my ticket for the Breidagen. Something really special, and something that has to do with a vintage tin. And once I open it, you will know what I did. Because out comes this lovely Turkish spindle with yarn I spun. How amazing is that? I booked a workshop at Studio Spintel, which is who is a Dutch lady who hand makes these wooden Turkish spindles, and they are amazing. They're so soft and woody. This is elm, and it has 18.6 grams. It's a size 2, and so it fits in the lovely tin. It's their trademark. And this is my very, very first, I'll wind it for you. My very first spun and twined yarn. And I was able to make this within a half an hour. How amazing is that? I was looking forward to this workshop a long time, because I said, okay, I actually don't need a new hobby. I don't need to spin. But then it kept itching, and I saw that they were having workshops. I said, okay, why not? Because it's also, it's so small, you can take it everywhere. And it's so nice to work with some fluff. Ooh. And yeah, well, it just took the workshop. I must say I was a bit influenced by Laura Penrose, the Knitting Pickle podcast, because she was so positive and so, well, bubbly about her first spinning experiences and immediately knitting it into a sweater, I think, for her son. And I said, well, I must try it. The ladies were so lovely. It was actually the owner's mother, who was my workshop buddy, who taught me. And it's amazing how fast you actually learn it, because I spun this on Friday evening. It's quite a lot, but it's also very thin. And she said, well, once you get the hang of it to spin in a thin way, I think this will easily make a decay once I have twined it. But it's kind of an art yarn still. No, by no means it's anywhere close to perfect, but it's a different kind of, well, working in a concentrated way, and it's kind of slowing down. The mind slows down. It's slow work. Well, I won't be able to make a jumper out of this anytime soon, or whatever. But just the fact that it slows you down and you focus on something, it keeps turning, it has something hypnotizing, I normally say. And working with wool and wood together has something really, well, it's very satisfying somehow. So I will, next to knit on the couch in the evening, I will spin. And I got this floof. This is actually exercise yarn. It came with my spindle. And then I'll pack this in here. And then I bought this as a package. So I also got to choose some floof to go with it. So I have some literally mega soft floof noodles in 100% merino. It is superwash, but I desperately want to incorporate this in socks, and it's from Foxy Fibers. And this is actually the yarn brand from Studio Spintool. They also sell the hand-dyed yarn and hand-dyed floof to spin. And so this is together, it's 50 grams and it's 18.5 micron, and it is so soft. It's so nice. So maybe at some point I can make cuffs for socks in my own hand spun yarn. And then once I'm done with the socks, I have some more. I found this at Atelier Hutwool based. It's hand dyed and it is 100% Polworth. And it's a jeansy dark blue color. And this also has a long fiber length. So they said, well, it's for the beginner spinner. This should be okay. It's a little rusticy, and well, I think spinning for me will be up and foremost discovering different kinds of yarn, other than just merino because it's soft, and to go back to breed specific yarns. So this will be an interesting one, but this will take me literally ages to spin up. But hey, it doesn't need to be done by next week, right? Then what else did I get? Another nice meet and greet with a German-based lady from Zamelin Dyeworks. And now I have to tell why this was special. Since the beginning of my knitting career, I have been listening to Der Frickelcast. As some of you might know, I've lived in Germany for about 16 years, from when I was 3 years old to about 19. So I speak fluent German. My husband tends to make fun of me that I'm still half German. I like to do my shopping in Germany. I watch German television, and so yeah. I would say I'm still half German by heart and Dutch by passport. But nevertheless, so I was listening to their Frickelcast, and they very kindly also reposted my first YouTube attempts on their site. So I had quite some German people watching my YouTube episodes, and they work a lot with hand-dyed yarn from Zamelin Dyeworks for their projects. So I know her through the other podcast, and knowing that she would be on the Breidagen was really amazing. So we had this lovely chat, and well, it was amazing. And I didn't know she lived in the Netherlands for a year when she was studying. So she did a year abroad, and she actually speaks really good Dutch, I must say. And we had a really nice chat. She had some lovely samples of scarves and different designers that she had knit up. And of course I couldn't leave without a yarny souvenir. So I have one skein of this amazing zebra sock. And it looks like spin cycle yarn because it's twined with a darker yarn. Green purple-ish. And it's 80% virgin merino superwash, 20% nylon, 366 meters for 100 grams in wild zebra number 49, which I really loved because it's something different. And then she had a nice little scarf there, and I wanted something not socky because, well, socks you always have to knit too and it takes up quite some time. I wanted something more special. All day long it was raining and now we have the sun, so excuse me for squinting sometimes because the cloud just moved away and gave me sunshine. Well, I wanted to have some souvenir yarn which was a bit more special and a bit more exclusive. So I chose this skein. The base is called Glamour and it's in birdhouse gray, and to me it looks more like a grayish dark green, and it is so soft. And it is made from 70% baby alpaca, 20% silk and 10% cashmere, non-superwash. And this will become a lovely little scarf. She had a sample there, which was in, I think if I remember right, in garter stitch, but with a nice edge to it, non-symmetrical. And I thought this would look really nice in this yarn. This is a different color than I usually wear. And I didn't want to fall back on making yet another Sophie scarf because, well, one can have enough Sophie scarves. I also had my Scarf of Doom, the Colding by Chris Berlin, but I can't pluck up the courage yet to make another one of those because it's big. And so this looked like a nice little project, a one skein project. And so I looked it up, and I will put it down here or up there because I can, for the love of God, not remember the designer. She is UK based, I think. And can I remember the name? No. Well, I will put a picture up here and put the details in down below. But that was not all. At the stall where I met the other YouTuber, Emma of Emma's Craft Corner. She was at Holland Creatief, and I bought some yarn for skeins of this lovely caramel color. It's fine Peruvian Highland wool, 100 gram, 200 meters, made in Peru by Holland Creatief. They had a really lovely stand with a little, oh, was it like a food truck, but then with yarn inside. Really cute. I bought these for a friend actually. So Crystal, if you're watching, thank you for letting me show your yarn. And so I bought 4 skeins for her. She wants to make a project with it, and she had me spying for the right colors for her. And then the universe did something to me, because I came to the stall of the VYEN company, owned by Ross, if I remember it correctly. And he's a Scotsman now living in Nijmegen. And I actually discovered him when I, being born in Nijmegen, was in Scotland. I was in Glasgow, I think pretty much a year ago this weekend. And I somehow discovered him dyeing yarn in Nijmegen. And so it's really funny that I met him. And we've talked on Instagram for a bit. And yeah, what to say, he had this lovely, lovely Harris tweed bag. And I think we started the conversation of a Harris tweed because I love it. And he sells products made in Harris tweed. And he had this lovely, lovely bag hanging there. And it was calling my name so loudly that I just said, you know what? I'll go and have a look at all the other stalls and booths. If the universe wants me to have this bag, it will still be here when I do my second tour of the venue. And of course it was still there. So clearly the universe wanted me to have this lovely, lovely bag. I love it. I think I will not only use it as a project bag, but as a handbag too. It's very simple. Simple inside. Little pouchy here. But it is just, it has a snap here, snap close. It's just the most amazing color. I don't know if you see it. It's like turquoise, bluish with the hearts on. It screams Scotland, and I just had to have it. And because bags don't like to travel alone, I had a real hard time picking it out. I had this skein of yarn from Ross, the VYEN company, and this is also the same composition as the one from Zamelin Dye Works. The color is called Cranberries. It's 70% baby alpaca, 20% silk, 10% cashmere, 100 grams, 400 meters. And Ross had so many colors that I wanted to get, and this one is with aubergine, orange, green, really autumny colors. And I have no clue yet what I want to make with it, but it just had to come with me. And it's also really soft. So yeah, another one skein project I don't have a plan for, but we'll see when we get there. At least it's going to live with me now, and we'll see about that. And then my last find, sorry, I just have to unwrap it, was from the Happy Kiwi stitch markers and notions, which I passed, and I bought myself a little autumny stitch marker. It's an acorn and a leaf. And this one for my friend I also bought the yarn for, to have something for her new project. Well, and I think that's about everything I shopped for at the Breidagen. But I must admit, I have an acquisition which is not Breidagen related also. And that's all because of the lovely Marleen from, I think Marleen Knits, also a YouTuber, a German YouTuber from Marburg, Germany, because she had a code for woolly knits in the UK. They recently changed their worldwide shipping fees. It's still UK, you still have to pay for taxes and stuff once it gets here. But I wanted to knit up woolly knit since I think I saw it at the Breidagen at some point, but I wanted to have it really badly. So I jumped in and bought myself some woolly knits. And since I learned from my experience that it's easier to have a project in mind before buying the yarn and buying the yarn for that special project, I bought a cone of the standard, what is it, full ply British wool, 500 grams, and it's the color cinnamon, and a 200 gram hank of the same color, also cinnamon. And this will become the stick season sweater by the Breidagen when she has released her pattern. It's close to the color she had. It's a really rustic yarn, and it also smells lovely of sheep, but I'm very pretty tolerant to rustic yarns, and I just like the color. It's very variegated browny greenish color. So this will become one day a stick season sweater. Then I bought the comb bed is all the way. Put it on the right way. Then a cone of merino in the color, this is 4-ply merino wool in the color Cherketa. Well, it's kind of a dark turquoise. And I had the idea of making a lento with this one, But in the meanwhile, my son has confiscated the cone because he wants to learn how to knit. I must say, he's 7 years old, but he confiscated this because this is his favorite color, and he put it in his yarn basket because every starting out knitter has a yarn basket, right? So cute. And then I surprised myself because I have 500 grams of the saddle work in the shade Pure Aran. And for the love of God, I cannot remember what I had in mind I wanted to make with this. I have no clue. I think it's not enough to make a Dorney sweater by the Crayola, but I cannot remember what I had in mind when I ordered these. But without a doubt, they will find a project. They will find a destination. And this is 204 meters. And yeah, this is how many grams? Well, this in total is 500 grams. I can't remember. But what I can remember, I bought, since this is undoubtedly not the last time I order with Willy Knit, I bought myself some shade cards, which make it a lot easier to order colors. I have one for the Pure New Wool and the other one for the Merino. And there are some really nice colors in there. So I think for the future, this makes it way easier to order. Yeah. And then one last thing, I said my son, he's 7, and he all of a sudden has the urge to knit. So being a crafty mom, of course, I was delighted that he wanted to knit. I took out my daughter's learning knitting needles. She got this children's book from Sandnes for last Christmas. It came with 20 centimeter 4mm needles, 20 centimeters long. It's a little easier for their hands to grab it. And there's some, well, it's in German because it doesn't exist in Dutch, but it's also in German or Norwegian. And it has 4 or 5 projects in here that you can make. And actually, these wrist warmers was the first project my daughter made. She only finished them somewhere, I think in summer, but hey, she made it. And so my son wanted to start knitting, and his favorite color is actually this color, but I had some acrylics lying around, chunky ones. So he started to knit, and he's come this far. And it's with the glitter in there, and he wants to make his wrist warmers, but to keep his wool. And being a crafty mom, he had to have a project bag. So he now has his own dinosaur project bag, and he's really proud of it, with his tiny knitting needles in there. And it's the cutest thing because he, well, obviously he likes dinosaurs. He watches Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, Jurassic everything. He's not squeamish. And he has this, well, he found it somewhere online, this little thing, how to remember how to knit. So let's demonstrate what he does. So he takes up his knitting next to me. When he knits, he murmurs, stab it, strangle it, pull out his guts, push him off a cliff. Stab it, strangle it, pull out his guts, pushing off a cliff. It's so cute. He managed to do 2 rows, and now he wants to knit 2 rows every day together with me, and let's see how long it takes him. But he's usually, once he takes something up, he's quite serious about it. And now, of course, my daughter's a little jealous, and she wants to make another project for her. She wants ear warmers. So I ordered some new children's knitting needles very quickly, so she can have her own bag, and Karel has his own knitting needles for his project. And we'll see whenever he has his first finished object to present, maybe on this podcast. Well, I think I'm through for this time. It was quite a lot. Yeah, I think next episode, I will start telling you about, or it's a plan that I have. Every episode, I want to tell you about one harbor we went to, and in chronological order, and show you what yarn I got at what place and what project I want to make with that said yarn. So over the course of, I think, 10 or 12 episodes, you will follow my yarny travels abroad. I will put in some pictures. I didn't vlog yet, but sometimes I made little videos in the yarn stores. So I hope you will like that. And next time, for sure, I will tell something more about the everyday Navy life, how it was living on a ship. Until then, I wish you a lovely Sunday evening, and I would appreciate it enormously if you leave me a thumbs up and if you click on the little bell. And well, see you next time. Bye.
Komt-ie.
Stabben. Strangelen. Pull out its guts. Throw off the cliff. Throw off the cliff. Glad.